Anna. Happy to have you again. I'm here again in my house, in my home, and watching out of the window a little bit, seeing the landscape changing because we're in autumn now, so it's getting a bit fresh. That's why I have these warmer clothing on right now. Okay, welcome. Today's online masterclass, especially for you about the European travel market. Today we're gonna talk a lot about Europe, and I hope that things go a little bit smooth today, because last time I had some technical things here. So this training again provided to you by the ITCC Trades and the EU-funded Green Tour Africa project. Again, if you want to know more about the Green Tour project for Africa, this is the website where you can have a look and get more information. This is about me, but this is the third time that you see me, you hear me, so I'm not going to repeat all this. That will be redundant. So, okay, so last webinar last week, Wednesday, what did we share with you? If okay, you received my slides, you received a manual to prepare your elevator pitch, the separate document, a Word document with some golden rules related to elevator pitching. And I sent you a manual that I also developed about content writing. And as you might remember, last week, we discussed about how to make awesome program descriptions. So day-to-day programs for your tour programs. And if you might remember, I mentioned that content writing it's for me, it's like an art to write really good day-to-day descriptions for your tours. It's a different area. You really need to know what you are doing. And remember that we discussed about how to formulate your USPs. We also discussed about the use of action verbs, as you might remember. And well, you know, in my coaching with tourism companies like you, I'm always very looking critically at the tour programs, and many times, you know, I just discovered that the descriptions are not really good. Spelling, grammar mistakes, errors, no fixed attractive template being used, USPs not well formulated. So in many cases, working with a content writer is really a necessity, sorry, to get things really well, because a well-developed, a well-written tour program is the key to a sell. If the programs are being described in not a good way, in a poor way, with lots of errors, etc., USP is not well defined, then it's not attractive enough, and people might say, no, I'm not going to book this tour. So content writing is something that you need to think about very well. If it's not your cup of tea, you might have to outsource. And there are different channels available online where you can find content writers that have a background, for example, in travel and tourism. And these tips and tricks you will find in this manual that I just mentioned to you. For those of you that are good at writing, but you know, after you develop your program, you wrote everything down, sometimes it happens that you still have a bit of a feeling like, no, I'm not really 100% sure of my spelling, of my grammar. In that case, you don't have to work with a content writer, but you could work with a proofreader. That's cheaper than a content writer. So that means that you send your written tour programs to a proofreader, and she or he will have a proofread, check it, make the improvements, return it back to you, and then you can make your final version of your tour description without any spelling or grammar mistakes, things like that. So that's the difference, content writer versus proofreaders. So again, a good tour program is really the key to sell. So you really have to think about this, you know? All right, so the house rules Caroline already mentioned. So let's skip this one. If there's anything you would like to share, please use the chat box. If you have any questions, please put in the chat box, and Caroline will give me a warning and I will reply to your question. Okay, so this is today's agenda. I'm first going to give a wrap up of what we did during the previous 2 online masterclasses. Then I go to session 2, which is the introduction and a focus on the World Travel Market Virtual London. That's going to happen within a couple of weeks. And you are the lucky guys that you are able to join this one. So let's first have a look at that. Then, as I mentioned, we're going to talk today about the European outbound travel market. So Europeans traveling out of the countries to Africa, to Asia, to Latin America, etc., etc. So the outbound travel market, a bit of an overview. Then we move on to the United Kingdom to have some further insights into the or in the travel behavior of the Britons, so the people from the United Kingdom. We call them Britons. Then we go to the 3 German-speaking markets. So then we're talking about Germany, Switzerland, and Austria. Then we jump to the Scandinavian countries, which are 4 countries: Norway, Sweden, Finland, and Denmark. And then finally, session number 7, which is about the Mediterranean countries. And then we are talking about France, Spain, and Italy. So a lot of market intelligence that you're going to get today. And then the final session is the question and answer session. But again, if you have questions in the meantime, please put them in the chat box. If you want to share your knowledge about some European countries, please put it in the chat box and we will share it with the others. So, okay, so what are the training objectives of today's webinar? Get better prepared for the World Travel Market Virtual London 2020. Show an understanding of the different European source markets. So United Kingdom, again, I will put a little bit more emphasis on this country because you're all going to join the WTM London. The German-speaking markets, speaking countries, France, Spain, Italy, Scandinavia. What are the differences, but also what are the commonalities? What do they like? How to work with these countries, B2B wise, but also B2C wise. What can you do? Then after this webinar, I hope that you will be able to select the most effective, or that you know what are the most effective distribution channels to tap into these different European source markets. And last but not least, again, to understand, to comprehend the importance of tourism market intelligence. And at the end, I hope that you also have a clear understanding of the relationship between the 3 online trainings that we did during the past couple of weeks. All right, so let's start with the wrap up first. So session number 1. So webinar 1 was about the Asian outbound travel market. So I provided to you a lot of market intelligence about the different interesting source markets in Asia. I mean, we focused on 6 countries. It's of course impossible to deal with all the countries. A lot of market insights, market knowledge. We talked about different market segments. And actually what I wanted you to do is to think about it. What are you good at? What could be an interesting Asian market segment for you? What could be an interesting country for you to work with? And why should, for example, these family travelers from China choose for your company. Remember the homework with these 3 questions. And actually, you know, when I ask you the question, why, give me 5 or 4 keywords or short sentences in which you formulate why this Chinese traveler should work with you, should choose for your option. That was actually the bridge to the second webinar, because actually that was about your unique selling points. Also, why you, why us as a company, what makes us different from others, and why should these Chinese family travelers choose for our company, for our tour. So webinar 2 was about your unique selling points, and we discussed about the different levels. We also looked into best practices from other tour operators, outbound tour operators, working B2B, but also working B2C. If you talk about B2B and B2C, there are differences in the way you formulate your company USPs. Remember about that one. So for the B2C, for the customers, it's more about focus on the program. And if you work B2B, your unique selling point should be more directed towards your staff, your team. So who are your people, and what's their background, and remember also this exercise that we did, or this quiz, this ranking with number 1, operational response is the most important to European outbound tour operators when they are searching for a new partner, for example, in Kenya, in Ghana. So also in your unique selling points, if you work B2B, potential business partners like to see things coming back in your USP, such as operational response, your product knowledge, things like that. So again, look at these examples. This is very good to look at, and look at how you are communicating your unique selling points on your own website, and maybe sometimes you can improve things there. But be honest, no lies. What do you do well? Look at that, and that is what you put into your unique selling points. We looked at unique selling points on the product level. We talked about unique selling points that sometimes like embedded also in the company name. Some companies have very strong, very clever company names to communicate their USPs in an indirect way. We looked into your presentation. We talked about product presentation and how to formulate your USPs, action verbs again. And we also looked at USPs and sustainability, because sustainability, responsible travel, is something that is more and more included into unique selling points, not only on the company level. So for example, on the company level, you say like, we are committed and an award-winning company with, for example, the Travel Life partner status or the Travel Life certified status. But also on the product level, sustainability is getting more and more important. And also when you talk about USPs on your product level, then during our webinar from last week, we looked into some sustainability USPs and how to formulate it. So for example, one of them was we only work with, I remember that one, with local guides, because, and then you come to the unique selling points. The benefit for your client is that you will get the best local stories, the best local in-depth cultural insights. Yeah. All right. So company USPs, no lies, think about it. And yeah, that was actually the wrap up. Are there any questions so far concerning the webinars, the 2 webinars that we had? If you have questions, please put them in the chat box. I will wait for 30 seconds to see if any questions will come in. right, let me go to the chat. No questions? All right. I will wait for another 10 seconds. If you have a question, please put them in the chat box now. All right, perfect. No questions. Okay, so let's move on to session number 2, which is the introduction and a focus on the World Travel Market London 2020. And as you can see on the cover slide for the second session, this year we're coming to you. The World Travel Market London is going to be 100% virtual, no physical events because of the, well, the C word, huh? The COVID. Good. Let me see if I can move to the next slide. So today it's about Europe that we're going to talk, but first we're gonna talk about the United Kingdom, the World Travel Market, where you all will participate, right? So how many of you have been preparing for the World Travel Market? I want to see some yeses in the chat box. So please put in the chat box yes or no. Make me happy. No, yes, whoa, all right. I see a lot of yeses. Okay, all right, good. Okay, happy to see many yeses in the chat box. That's great. Okay, let's continue. Okay, so the next slides, I'm going to, I mean, I took them from other presentations that I did. And for those of you already working with the British, so with the UK market, what about your existing contacts in the United Kingdom? So business partners that you're already dealing with in the past, more recently, did you contact them? Did you send them a short email telling them that you will be there, so that you will be joining the World Travel Market virtual, and that when they also go online, that they might have the opportunity to have a quick chat with you to discuss about the situation in the UK, about their company specifics, if they see any trends right now, when they think that travel's going to resume, if there's specific customer demands, if they see changes, that is very important for you to discuss when you're going to join the World Travel Market and when you are going to have a meeting with your existing contacts. A short email to tell them that you will be there. What I advise to the companies that I'm coaching is that don't restrain yourself too much to the online system that the World Travel Market provides to you. You can also use direct email to contact your existing contacts, and you can say, well, either we meet online in the WTM online environment, or we can set up a Skype meeting before the World Travel Market or after the World Travel Market at a day at a time that suits you. So think about how to put this into your short email to them. Show them that you're flexible so that you can have meetings at a time when it's convenient to them. When you send them a short email, you can also maybe, mention about some new products that you've been working on recently, maybe add a PDF file with some new ideas, with some new programs that you have been developing. Okay, so that is about your existing contacts. But I'm sure that also many of you want to have new business from the UK. So you want to have linkages to potential buyers. So the challenging thing here is how to find these potential new buyers. Well, I heard from Caroline that the She Trades is also providing you with assistance here. So I guess you can go online in the WTM online environment, and when you do that, you can search for buyers. Important is that you profile them, that you make a long list, that you make a short list, and then that you're going to contact them. And to do so, I'm going to show you some slides about what I call the 4-step approach. So step 1 is create a long list. So collect information about outbound tour operators from the United Kingdom. There are different websites, portals that you can use for that. I'm also going to explain you more about that. But what you already have is the online portal from the WTM Virtual 2020. So you can look into it. And what I did, for example, and okay, let me say, I'm going to share it with you. What I did, because I also participate in the world travel market, is I selected all the buyers or all the outbound tour operators from Europe, from Asia Pacific, from Latin America, from the USA and Canada that have an interest in Myanmar, because I deal with Myanmar. So I want them to send travelers to Myanmar, right? So I put all the outbound tour operators from these different continents, from these different regions in an Excel, including their profiles. And then I simply searched on Myanmar, 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 Myanmar. So using that long list, I converted it into a short list, and that is the step 2 of the 4-step approach, to see, okay, how many of these tour operators in my long list have an interest in Myanmar as a travel destination. And by selecting them, by filtering them out, I created my short list, right? Okay, but I want to learn a little bit more of these shortlisted tour operators with an interest in Myanmar. Do they already go to Myanmar? And if yes, where, what destination, what kind of tour programs do they offer? And you can do the same for Kenya, for Ghana. Do they already travel to or already cater for my country? And what do they sell? The reason why I'm saying that is because you can learn a lot from that. You can, for example, discover like, okay, this UK tour operator that I shortlisted, they already go to Kenya, they already go to Ghana. What kind of programs do they do? And you might discover, hey, but they don't have any tour program yet in the southern part of my country. That is interesting. That's an opportunity. Or you can think about, okay, I learned from visiting the website of this UK tour operator that they are not offering yet any ecotourism or any cycling tourism or any community-based tourism experiences. So by visiting their website, you can learn a lot from what they are doing or what they are not doing. You can also learn when going through their program about the group sizes. You can look at their pictures and you might discover, hey, this tour operator from the UK is more about senior travel or more about youth or more about family travel. So this is really part of the shortlisting. You need to visit the websites of these UK tour operators and try to get a short profile so you know what they are doing. A comment that I often get back from companies is that, yeah, well, you know, they are already selling our country. And then I say, yes, but if you do your homework, that means that they might already have an agent in Kenya or in Ghana or in Myanmar, but that should not scare you off. You need to do your homework and learn and see, for example, okay, they travel already to Kenya, but they don't do this and this. And this is where you can add value. What you also can do is when you shortlist that you don't only focus on Kenya or on Ghana. You can also, for example, use some of your neighboring countries as a search criteria. Also, for example, look at the Gambia, when you talk about Ghana, or maybe Cameroon, or maybe another country. For Kenya, it could be Tanzania or Ethiopia, because then you will find additional tour operators, extra tour operators that might not be active in your country, but they're already close. They're already in Ethiopia, so that's your neighboring country. So maybe you can think about contacting them and saying like, okay, you're not selling my country yet, but I see that you already do Ethiopia. Maybe you can think about or discuss like an extension to your country, or maybe your country will be a totally new standalone destination for them. That can be interesting. So shortlisting is very, very important. That takes time, but it's the only way to do. It shows your professionalism. It shows that you're really serious in getting to know what your potential buyer is doing and what he's not doing, etc. This is really important because your potential business partner will also see and hear and get the feeling that you're very professionalist and that you did your homework really well. And Europeans, they appreciate that a lot. So, okay, step one, long listing, step two, short listing, and then it's all about preparing your contact approach. So what I strongly believe in is, again, doing this homework for each potential, in this case, UK tour operator that you shortlisted. Because I personally do not believe in one email message with the same content for all the UK tour operators that you shortlisted. No, each email that you send to each single UK tour operator should be an individual tailor-made message, where you say, we studied your website and believe we can help you to improve your quality, or we found out that you're not active yet in the southern part of our country, and we have some amazing tour programs that we believe, that we are convinced that they will be very appealing to your customers. This is how you do your contact approach. Okay, so here are some golden rules. Try to be different. I mean, these UK outbound tour operators, the closer they get to the world travel market, the more emails they will get from companies like you that want to meet with them. But be different and show that you really did your homework well, that you did your profiling very well, that you really acquired knowledge in advance about their company, and that you, in your tailor-made message, that you already come up with a business proposal. Like, again, you don't do the southern part of my country. You don't do cycling travel, for example, or, you know, come with a proposal and really show where you can add value. All right. So this is what I call the 4-step approach. And you can, after the presentation, we'll get my slides so you can again go through all of that. So what is important is, when you're going to join the world travel market, always check the website, not only of WTM, whatever fair you're going to visit, always check the website of the trade fair, because there's a lot of information that you can find. Not only market intelligence about the UK market, or for example, if you go to ITB Berlin always has a lot of interesting market research about the German market. Make use of it. And again, here you see the screenshot that I took from the WTM homepage. And as you can see, there's one button here, Find 2020 Exhibitors. This is also where you can go and already screen. But again, I assume that you all have online access to the WTM online system to pre-schedule your business meetings, but I'm not sure. Maybe Caroline, you want to add something to that?
You covered it very well.
Yeah. All right. Good. All right. So look at the website of the World Travel Market and see what you can learn from that. These are two very important messages that I just wanted to share with you. When you are having your meeting with your business partner, and again, this year it's going to be online meeting, always take notes. I'm not sure if I don't know how you're dealing with that, but for example, in my coaching work for the Dutch government, we have what we call like a template that we provide to the coached companies, which we call a business contact report. It's just a one-pager that you can use to fill out your notes. So it's like a short summary of the meeting, and where you also write down in bullet points, keywords, what are going to be the follow-ups. It happens a lot that I talk to people that they say, well, yeah, well, I didn't really took notes. I had another meetings right after this one. I forgot about it, etc. You know, if you don't make proper notes, it might be difficult to do or impossible to do a proper follow-up, or you do a follow-up and actually you have to admit to your potential buyer, like, well, sorry, we met online, but actually I didn't know what we discussed. I don't know what better follow-ups. Please, can you mention what we discussed and what you need? This is very unprofessional. You always have to make good notes yourself. So after this training, I'm going to share this business contact report with you. Maybe the C-Trades already have their own template. I don't know, but I will share it with you. Caroline, maybe you want to add something here?
I guess usually when we attend the on-site ones, everyone has their own notepad, and it's the same as possibly your template. And they would just normally write down the notes and save the business card. But yeah, it's easier if you have, we can also share the template that you have with them, and then they can utilize that.
All right, great. Okay, and then about follow-ups. I mean, for me, there's a maximum of 2 weeks. You have to follow up within 2 weeks. After that, people forget about you and they will walk with your competitor. As soon as possible, of course, is the keyword here. Ideally, you do it already within 1 week. The advantage of this virtual event is that you can, you stay at home, you do everything from home. So no excuses here, like I'm going to travel for 1 week in the UK, have some fun, etc. This is not going to happen this year. So timely follow-up, that is what you can easily do now. So do it. The quicker you are, the more you stand out from others, and the higher the chance that they will choose to do business with your company. Okay, also, before you're going to join the World Travel Market London, practice your elevator pitch. So look at this manual and these tips and tricks that I share with you to present your company in a very quick way, like 30-40 seconds, in which you include your company unique selling points, because you only have limited time. I guess there's a maximum of 30 minutes with buyers. Okay, that's actually plenty. But in the beginning, when you introduce yourself to a new company, a potential buyer, it's good that you have your elevator pitch ready. And a common mistake made here, I think, is that a lot of people, they talk too much about their country, about, okay, Kenya, we have beautiful safaris everywhere. We have the canyon, we have beautiful beaches, etc., etc. You don't have to share this with business people, because these business people, they already visited your country several times. Product managers, they've already been in your country, so they know what it's all about. They know what attractions you have. So in your elevator pitch or during your talk, don't mention all the sites and the highlights that you have. They know. Ask questions. What about your clients? Do you see changes in demand regarding concerning Kenya or Ghana? Are there any new trends and developments that you are working on? Product within terms of product development that we need to take into account when we are going to develop new products for our country, etc., etc. So ask questions to get for yourself a lot of new market intelligence for the UK travel market, because that is what you need. You need to be up to date about what's going on into the market and how are you going to deliver the best tour programs to your UK client, for example. All right. Okay, so this is a website that I just came across, and you have the web link here with 9 important, call it again, like golden rules for doing an elevator pitch. So please, I liked it a lot. So if you want to visit and use it as inputs for preparing your elevator pitch, please do so. So some stuff that I will share with you after this webinar, the business contact report template. I'm going to share with you the World Travel Market long list. That's an Excel file with all the outbound tour operators from different parts of the world that are registered in the system. And then, for example, you can search on Kenya or Ghana and some of your neighboring countries and prepare your shortlist. Also, I will share with you a manual how to approach UK tour operators. And what I forgot to mention here is that I will also share with you the most recent holiday habits report from the APTA. APTA is the National Tour Operator Association of the UK, and they always do an annual research on the travel behavior of the Britons. So I will also share that one with you. All right, any questions? If so, please use the chat box.
No questions so far.
No questions. Okay, then we jump to the third session, which is Europe, an overview. So let's start with some facts and figures for the European market. All right. This is Europe, and this is the European Union. Some people mix things up. The European is only a selection of countries, of European countries, but Europe and the European Union are 2 different things. So how many people do we have? We have more than 740 million people living in Europe. We have 50 countries, more than 90 languages. The European Union is only 28 countries out of these 50 European countries that we have. 24 languages. The euro, the currency, is not being used in all European countries. It's only limited to 19 countries. Europe, the largest economy on earth, but there's big differences between how to say, in terms of income. GDP per capita in 2019, US dollars, almost 29,000 US dollars. Inflation is low. Purchasing power, well, if you would have asked me like half year ago, 1 year ago, I would say great, you know, perspectives are good. But because of the whole COVID and the economic recession that is slowly starts to get more clear what the impact really is, we need to see what's going to happen with the purchasing power of the Europeans. This is an article that I took from gfk.com saying that COVID will have an impact on the disposable income of the Europeans with 773 euros less to spend in 2020. So what I see here in my country, the Netherlands, is that more businesses are, well, they still get support. I think this is now like a third round of national governmental support that businesses get. But some companies probably not going to survive. A lot of reorganizations already going on. So the recession starts to get, well, you know, it started already. So if we have a recession, the first things that European will economize on is luxury things. So travel could be one of them. We need to see how this will further evolve. All right, so when you look at Europe, this is the map of Europe. You see these two red lines. So in the middle, in the blue section, the blue colored countries is what we call like the richer part, the wealthy part of Europe. And right of that, so these are the, you know, this orange, light green color. Eastern Europe is what we say like, okay, this is where the purchasing power is lower. And you see Portugal here at the left side, which is also considered as being a country in Europe where purchasing power is lower. So this gives you a bit of an idea about how to look at Europe in terms of wealth versus countries that are weaker in terms of purchasing power. But also within countries, you see that there are a lot of regional differences, for example. So, for example, in Italy, there's really like a rich-poor division, with the northern part of Italy being the wealthiest part, and the southern regions being the poorer areas. Also in Spain, for example, you see that Madrid, Barcelona are the really wealthy areas. But if you go more to the south, especially to the western part of Spain, bordering Portugal, you see that these are the regions where people have lower incomes, less money to spend also on travel. If you go to Eastern Europe, for example, Poland or Romania, you see that the capital cities and the regions neighboring the capital cities are the areas that are interesting for outbound travel. But if you go more to the rural areas, this is not really where outbound travel is let's say like well developed, because people have less to spend and less disposable income. They don't have enough income to travel outbound regularly. So also within the countries, you need to look critically about where will I find, or how, for example, if you're going to advertise, where to focus on and reach out, get connected to the European outbound travelers. So again, within countries, there might be quite some differences in terms of spending power. Yeah. So, all right. So what about your country? So what about Kenya? What about Ghana and your statistics for the European travel market. For those of you located in Kenya, do you know what your top 3 European source markets are? Please use the chat box only now for the people from Kenya, and mention your number 1, 2, 3 European zone markets. Number 1 is the biggest group of European travelers. So I don't know, is that Italy, is that Greece, is that the UK or Spain? I don't know. You mentioned. So number 1, number 2, and number 3. Please use the chat box. Okay, I see the Netherlands and the UK. Thank you, Janet. Germany. I see Germany and France. So more inputs for Kenya. What's the number 1, the biggest? Okay, Germany, UK. UK, Germany. All right. Good. Okay. So I see a lot of UK and Germany. I see some France. So probably that is the top 3 markets or source markets from Europe. Eastern Europe, I also see now. So interesting. Emerging countries. Yep. All right. So let's go to Ghana right now. So people from Ghana, please put in the chat box your 1, 2, 3 European source markets. Where do the Europeans come from? What countries, and what is the biggest one, number 2, and number 3? Please put it in the chat box. UK, Holland, or Netherlands, Germany. All right, interesting. Yes, Germany, Italy. All right. We see some Eastern Europe as well. All right, seem to be quite some commonalities here. Kenya, Ghana, Germany. All right, good. All right. Well, thank you very much. I see a lot of Germany again, UK, Netherlands.
I think
so.
Karen may have a question. Hello, Karen.
All right.
Your hand is up. Karen? Yeah.
Is there a question?
Oh.
No?
No.
Okay, then please put yourself again on mute, because then we will continue. So thank you all for your inputs in the chat box. Happy to see a lot of countries that we are also going to talk about more later on. So that is great. I hope it will give you some good new insights into these European countries. So you will get a lot of inspiration to, well, for example, improve your product development, but also tap into new distribution and sales channels. Thank you, Nancy. You mentioned Germany and Italy. Great. All right. So we're also going to talk about these 2 countries. Okay. Thank you very much. So let's continue our session and go to the next slide, which is a bit of a wrap up about your European client. Okay, your European client. Europe is aging, so people are getting older, but European seniors are also wealthy and healthier these days. So they don't sit at home behind the window. No, they're very active. They're very sporty. They like to be, to move, to do sports, etc. So also when you deal with these European senior clients, you need to think about what are interesting activities, programs to offer to them. More about it later on. European market, it's a mature market. No? Remember that when we talked about Asia, that we discussed about China, which is step by step going into the second wave and getting more mature. But it's nothing compared to Japan, where tourism, outbound tourism, was already liberalized in the 60s. And Europeans, it's a very mature market. I would say that Eastern Europe, so Poland, Romania, Hungary, the Czech Republic, this is an area of Europe that is still lagging a little bit behind. But the western part of Europe, the northern part of Europe, so then we're talking about Scandinavian countries, mature markets, very travel experienced, and already visited many countries all over the world, traveling more, but they want to experience new stuff. And we're going to discuss about that later on. Culture, cultural insights, authenticity, the wow factor, something really unforgettable. And what is very important to Europeans is hands-on activities. They want to do something active, you know, be part of the experience, create something, and interact with the local people. Value for money, price critical. We for example, the Italians, Spanish people, but also we, the Dutch people from the Netherlands, we are very price critical. We do a lot of price reviews or price comparison websites is something that we can easily access to compare prices for tour programs, and we make use of them. But that doesn't mean that for Europeans you have to be cheap. No, if you are more expensive, there's nothing wrong with that, as long as you can explain why you are more expensive than your competitors. Because, and then we're talking a bit again about your unique selling points. So the benefits, you can always say, I'm more expensive, but we do something different, and it's this and this and that. So as long as you can explain your more expensive price, then it's okay. More education, we have internet connectivity in many European countries is sky high, like 80 to 90%. So we use a lot of the internet, social media to prepare, to read about new destinations, new products. So we have access to a lot of information. One trend, we will look at that later on, is treating yourself well. Wellness, luxury products, yoga, meditation. These are activities that are really growing and growing. And the willingness to do something good. So to leave a positive impact on the holiday destination. So then we're talking here again about sustainable tourism, community-based tourism, volunteering tourism, things like that. So this gives you a bit of an impression, a global idea about the European market. But let's have a look at some upcoming growing market segments. You might, I think I already showed you this slide in a webinar that we did earlier. The WOPs, the wealthy, healthy, older people. Now 50% of European population is older than 65. And within 5 years, this will grow to 22%. Countries like Italy, Greece, and Spain, so Mediterranean countries, they are aging the most. When we looked at the Asian markets, we saw that Japan, I think actually Japan is the most aging country in the world. So looking into the senior travel market for these countries is interesting, but you need to know really well what their needs are, what their demand is all about, to be able to develop the right products. So when we talk about the European WOPs, wealthy, healthy older people, or the senior travelers. Here you have some, let's say, like products or travel styles that they are really interesting in. So, for example, golf travel, walking, trekking, cycling travel is also something what seniors do. There's one picture about a visit to, I think it's a coffee plantation, but it's linked to community-based tourism. So from local people, they get explanation about the coffee plantation, visit the local village to learn from that. So also local authentic experiences, community-based tourism is something that they are interested in. So these could be interesting excursions, maybe like half day or maybe a couple of hours that you can offer like short modules to, for example, your European business partner, like, hey, have a look at that. Is that something that you could add or include into your travel program for Kenya or Ghana? So let me see, I made some more notes here. Senior travels from Europe, this is what I wrote down, are especially interested in experience holidays, which combine adventure, nature, culture, and encounters with local people. So another thing, what we see is that seniors in Europe are more and more interested into spa and wellness treatments. So that is also, these are also products that seniors are increasingly interested in. These people is what we call the Scandinavian Silver Agers. So 30% of the Scandinavian population, so again, we're talking about 4 countries here, Norway, Sweden, Finland, and Denmark. 30% of the population of these Scandinavian countries is older than 55. They have sky-high purchasing power. This table that you see here, you see that Norway has the highest spending power, much higher than the UK, much higher than the United States. After Norway, it's Sweden, where people have really strong purchasing power, followed by Denmark, and on the 4th place, it's Finland with the highest, actually it's the lowest spending power of Finland is the country with the lowest spending power in Scandinavia, and the Finnish purchasing power is similar to the UK, to the US. So just figure out, you know, Norwegian people, Swedish people, Danish people, they really have money to spend. And especially these seniors, these Scandinavian Silver Agers, they have the time, they can travel whenever they want. They have good, really strong pension schemes, and interesting market to look into, wanted. So what else do we see in the European travel markets? Well, the European adventure travel families, and look at some of the activities that they like. At the left side, under the "We Are the Adventure Families" text box, you see, for example, a what they call a jungle gym. So it's like a playground for kids in the jungle, in the forest, where they can have some fun. Walking, trekking, you see a picture of bamboo rafting, but if you do things like that, it should be safe. Or maybe do canoe or kayaking. Storytelling for kids combined with music is something interesting, where not only the kids can have fun, but also the parents, but don't do it too long. European parents, they also want to give their kids a meaningful travel experience, a holiday experience. So also community-based tourism with short visits to local villages where the kids can have fun, interact with local kids, maybe create something out of bamboo, play together, or maybe do a simple cooking course in a safe way. These are all kind of activities that these European families do like. But again, you need to know what you're doing. Coming back to the United Kingdom, what I found very remarkable during the last decade is that when you go to the websites of UK outbound tour operators, that you see that more and more of them have family holidays as a separate item on their website. Some tour operators, they have family holidays as an item in their main navigation, for example. So it seems that family travel is getting more and more visible and better represented on the corporate websites of the UK outbound tour operators. So it seems that there's a popularity that is growing concerning family holidays in the United Kingdom. But again, we're talking about families, and you might remember this kid from Asia that I showed to you during my first webinar about the Asian travel market. If you develop a product for families, you need to know what you are doing. And I want you to use the chat box right now to put some keywords in there that pops up. So when we talk about doing business with families, what are important items that you need to think about? So please think and put some inputs into the chat box, please. What is important when you want to sell products to families? So I will give you 1 minute so that you can put some inputs into the chat box. Think about what is important to these families, to the parents, but also to the kids. What is important to them to make the holiday successful?
So far in the chat, we have swimming, safety, slow travel, fun-filled activities.
Slow travel, absolutely. So slow travel, that links back to what we discussed about timing, right? So you need to think well about your timing. For example, don't offer intensive activities during the heatest moments of the day. Keep things short. When you do excursions with a guide, not too much history overkill. Instead of showing 10 sites, maybe focus on only 1 or only 2, where you can also organize something interesting for the kids. What I've been discussing recently with some tour operators from Myanmar is about the destination of Bagan, where you have like 2,000-3,000 temples. And I said, just select 1 or 2 temples where you're going to bring these families with the kids. And try to organize for these kids maybe like a discovery tour, or prepare a one-pager with some easy questions for these kids, so they can walk around in the temple, in the ruin, and that they have to look at things, search for things. I mean, this is how you can make a visit interesting for them. Yes, swimming pool, I see. Safe swimming pools, kids menu. So when you select your accommodation, not only think about offering these family rooms, but also look at the foods. It should not be too spicy. For Asian kids, this might be a little bit different, but Europeans, we are not used to eating very spicy food. So European kids, they cannot take that. All right, safety, yes, of course. All right, very good inputs. So thank you very much. You listened very well. I'm happy with that. Good. So again, when you deal with families, you really need to know what you're doing. The millennials, also in Europe, the millennials is a segment that is growing. So the millennials, again, that's what we also call Generation Y, people born between the 80s and let's say like 2005. It's what we call the internet generation. So if you want to work with these European youngsters, it's very important for your company to be visible online. So what about your corporate website? Is it mobile friendly? Is it friendly for iPads? Things like that. So some facts here about the millennial generation here in Europe. 25%, almost 25% of the adult population in Europe are the millennials. So interesting. So also an opportunity for rural destinations in your country, because these millennials are interested in off the beaten track, more adventure, but also doing something good. So visiting rural destinations, having a glimpse of local villages, local culture, and also maybe donate or support some local village projects, things like that. These are things that really interest them. But again, and this is what this slide shows, the millennials, they are leading the digital revolution. So you need to make sure that your online visibility is really good. So what else in Europe? We're hungry for culture. So cultural interaction is very, very popular. Storytelling, homestays is something that the Europeans like a lot. Hungry for culture, that reflects to culinary tourism. So culinary workshops, really, really popular amongst all ages. But interaction, hands-on activities, that is what it should be all about. It should be active. It should not be passive cultural experiences. So be part of the action is what Europeans prefer. So cultural interaction for Europeans is really, really important. So some other trends, wellness. This has to do with the society getting more hedonistic. So the pursuit of pleasure, that is what hedonism is all about. So that is why wellness, spa treatments, luxury travel, sorry, is something that is really growing. Self-reflection, this has to do with the result of what we call secularism. So the power of the church is reducing, and people are looking for other ways to, or other systems to make sense of life. So spiritual meditation, yoga workshops, etc. Luxury is growing, sustainability, responsible tourism. There's an increasing awareness, and Europeans like to do good. Animal welfare, more and more Europeans are sensitive to that, especially the people from the United Kingdom. They are very, very sensitive to animal welfare, because the whole animal welfare movement started in the UK. When you look at Europe, and it was the APTA, so that's the National Tour Operator Association of the UK, that was really the front runner in animal welfare rights or research. Community-based tourism is also a growing segment in the European market, but what you have to do, because having the chance to work in different countries, I noticed that there's a lot of different interpretation when we talk about community-based tourism. And for example, a couple of years ago when I was in Central Asia, I noticed that over there, the inbound tour operators, so businesses like you, they thought that community-based tourism was about offering a luxury homestay to Europeans where they can have good food. No, Again, this is not what Europeans perceive as community-based tourism. For Europeans, community-based tourism is, and it's underlined here in red, an authentic, welcoming, hands-on experience of local life, usually in rural areas, with benefits for local communities. So that is what CBT, community-based tourism, is all about. And you're the expert. You know your country, so you can see where you have these CBT experiences, select the best and include it, offer it to the European travelers. All right. I'm a lucky guy because for the ITC, I've been working in Myanmar since 2015. And when we started there in 2015, we started with a community-based tourism project for Kaya State, which is in the eastern part of the country, bordering the country of Thailand. And over there, we created community-based tourism experiences suitable for the European travel market. And I will share with you the web links later on, so you can find more information about what we did over there. But this is community-based tourism, how it should be for European travelers. So have a look at that. After Kaya State, we moved to the southern part of Myanmar, and we are now active in Tanintharyi region, also bordering Thailand. And that's a region on the coast, on the Andaman Sea. And this is where we now developed different community cultural tourism experiences. So for example, in Titit, it's a fisher village. Europeans, they can walk around with the local fishermen and hear about the stories, how they fish, how they catch the fish, what kind of different fishing techniques they are using to catch the fish, and really have a great local experience. In Kalonta, that's an orchard village, we developed a barefoot forest spa. So it's a spa in the forest where people can walk in ponds, in small rivers, and feel also the heat beneath their feet. And well, it's really a great experience in a really nice, beautiful, natural surrounding, and it's a really nice experience. And in the city of Dawei, it's a historic town, we have developed like a Vantage House heritage walking trail in the downtown area. Which is home to diverse communities and faiths. So CBT products that we are now pushing into the European travel market. This is a manual that we developed after our first project in Myanmar for Kaya State. And it's the lead author is Mr. Peter Richards, a great expert in the field of community-based tourism development. And I'm very proud that I could contribute to this manual as well. It's about successful community-based tourism development. It's based on all our experiences in Myanmar and how to sell community-based tourism products successfully to the European travel market, with a focus on doing B2B business. So if you want to learn more about how to develop successful CBT for the European outbound travel market, you can check it. This manual was supported by the ITC and the CBI, which is an agency of the Netherlands Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And it's a really useful manual for those of you who want to learn more about community-based tourism. Okay, niches in the European market: single travel, single parents, gay-friendly travel, special interest tours, ornithology. So then we're talking about bird watching, which is a really interesting market here in Europe. Sky high profit margins, round trips in small groups. More and more Europeans prefer to travel in small groups simply because the travel experience is better. Volunteer tourism, so doing good in the destination, working on a project in a destination. Okay, these are the European bird watchers. So ornithology, do good, so sustainable tourism, corporate social responsibility. Again, I know that some of you that are part of the Green Tour project, you managed to get the Travel Life partner status. So it's very wise to use that also in your communication about your corporate or your company unique selling points. Say in your unique selling points that you're committed to CSR, so corporate social responsibility, or you can mention award-winning company in sustainable tourism, things like that. Europeans are more and more looking for ethical tourism businesses and prefer to do business with tour operators that are more into the sustainability area, responsible tourism area. Animal welfare, I already mentioned that. A growing number of European outbound tour operators, they ban elephant rides. I'm not going too much into detail here, but elephant rides, to train elephants to do these tourist rides. The way they train the elephants is done in a pretty cruel way, and Europeans, they have been more well informed about these horrible practices during the last decade, and now more and more European tour operators, they don't accept that. They don't offer it anymore. And I heard even that some European outbound tour operators, that they stopped the contract with their incoming agent because they were still offering these elephant rides to other clients that they were serving. So they said, we don't want to be associated with these kind of practices. So we don't want to do business with you anymore. So be aware of that. So the European markets, a lot of different market segments, tourist styles, and a mature market with niches. So what is your market? What are you good at? That is important to think about. So this slide is about market segmentation. So this is how we European outbound or how European outbound tour operators, let's say, like split up the different market segments or travel styles. So what is adventure tourism about? It's about diving, surfing, bird watching, wildlife tourism. Nature tourism is about this and that. Cultural tourism, that is why you find community-based tourism, culinary tourism, and religious tourism. So think about you as a Kenyan incoming agent or Ghanese incoming agent. When you're going to structure your website, present your products, this is something that you can take into account in, splitting up your programs or maybe branding stuff, so that Europeans can quickly associate and navigate around your different types of products on your website. Okay, so what is your plan? What is your strategy to export to the European markets? Do you have something on paper? I don't know. I hope so. But again, market intelligence is very important. So only facts and figures, that is not enough. You need intelligence, data, insights into trends and developments, practical considerations for actions. So again, research first. What does the market want? Find your market intelligence. And again, in my coaching with the Myanmar companies, the CBI Tourism Market Intelligence platform that is accessible for free. You don't have to pay for it. This is really a great source of tourism marketing intelligence that you can make use of, with all different kinds of very useful reports, also about reports about European market segments, for example, nature travelers, wellness travelers, and so on. So make use of that. Also, other tourism marketing intelligence sources, many of them, they have free of charge research available online that you can easily make use of to build your knowledge about a specific country, a specific market segment. So make use of it. All right, are there any questions? Yeah. All right. Then before we go to the fourth session about United Kingdom, I propose that we have a break for 5 minutes. So then we start again. I mean, it's now here like 2:25. So then we start 2:30 again, Central European time. So 5 minutes break, and then we start again. If in the meantime you have some questions, use the chat box. So I'm gonna leave for 5 minutes, have a drink, and when I get back, I will check the chat box. So if you have questions, I will reply to it. So break for 5 minutes. See you. Welcome back. I hope you all grabbed a coffee or a tea, refreshment. Can you all hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, good. So let me
Yes,
see
we
if,
can hear you. Thank you.
all right, perfect, thanks. All right, let me see if you put some questions into the chat. All right, let me see. Okay.
We have a
Okay.
question from Regina.
Yeah, so there's a question from Regina. She says, I'm running a small rural-based hotel in an area with a lot of small-scale tea and coffee farms, beautiful surrounding forests. What would you advise in terms of attracting the European market? Very good question. I mean, to me, it already sounds very attractive where you are based, because it must be very beautiful over there. And me as a European, I expect that I can learn from the tea producing process. Also, the whole coffee process is something that I can learn from. Can go to a farm, listen to how things are going, go to the coffee plantation, see, so there's a lot for me to learn from. So interesting destination for Europeans to visit. So in your case, what you could do if you're going to be part of the World Travel Market virtual London is to reach out also to the European, or in this case maybe the UK outbound tour operators, present your accommodation and see if that could be part or of their Kenya program. I guess you're based in Kenya, right? Or yeah. So if you have a nice one page or a two pager, that is something that you can share with these European outbound tour operators, because more and more these European tour operators, they are looking for short modules. So that means that what they would like to see is a 1 day program or a 2 or a 3 day program. They want to look at these kind of things and see how they can include that into the program. But what I hear more and more also from European outbound tour operators, that they also increasingly interested in offers from accommodations like you, for example, that you present your accommodation, talk about not only about your accommodation, the kind of rooms that you can provide, show some pictures, maybe video. Video is very powerful, and say something about the area. So in your case, it's not only your accommodation, it's also about what you mentioned here, the rural area where you're based and what you can do there, what is attractive for the Europeans. And again, tea and coffee is something that is very interesting to Europeans. For you, that might sound maybe boring, I don't know, but here in Europe, we buy everything in the supermarket and we have no clue where it comes from. So Europeans are very interesting to learn about where the food, where the tea, where the coffee comes from, and how the process is all about. And I don't know about these tea and coffee farms that you have there, but maybe some interesting things that you could add here is that you say, like, it's also about storytelling, so you're gonna listen to the stories from the local coffee farmers or the local tea farmers and hear about the process. Maybe combine it with a picnic, that people drink tea or do a tea tasting session or a coffee tasting session where they can try different coffee taste or tea taste during a picnic, where they have some very nice local snacks or something like that in a beautiful surrounding. So if this is something that you, Regina, can present in a very nice, maybe 2-3 pager a brochure, it can be a PDF where you present your accommodation, but also what you can do with what kind of activities you can do in the rural area where you are based. I think you can definitely grab the attention of European outbound tour operators. And now I'm talking B2B. I don't know, maybe you also work B2C. That's different. Also, then you need to be even more focused on the program, the activities that you communicate at well on your website to also reach out directly to European travelers. So that is looking critically at how you present yourself as an accommodation on the internet. So does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. Thank you very much.
Okay, my pleasure. All right. Good. And again, Regina, but also for all others, when you present yourself, always think about your unique selling points. So what does your accommodation, and why is your accommodation more special than the other hotel in the nearby city? Or why is your company, why should they work with you? Why should they do business with you instead of your competitors? So again, unique selling points. What's the benefit of staying in your accommodation? What's the benefit of your company to do business with you? So always try to think like that. Yeah, and also capture this into what I called earlier your elevator pitch. So when you're going to have these business meetings online for the world travel market, make sure that you communicate your unique selling points as part of your short elevator pitch. Yeah? Okay, so let's look a little bit more into the United Kingdom, the UK travel market. I was working on these slides yesterday because I had to update them because the APTA, so again, the APTA stands for the Association of British Travel Agents. So that's the leading national tour operator association that you have in the UK. So it's like the TUGA that you have in Ghana or Kato in Kenya. APTA is the UK one, and they always do an annual research to get more insights into the holiday habits of the people from the UK, so the Britons. And so I had to update my slides and make sure that you have the most recent market intelligence about the UK. So this is a bit of a country profile with some figures in it. Urban population, 83%. So a lot of people live in the urban cities. So think about when you do advertising, focus on urban areas to have a high coverage. London is the capital. They are not using the euro in the UK. They have the British pound. Internet using a lot, some figures about the outbound travel market, high income economy, etc. So just a quick profile. Okay, then you might have heard of the word Brexit. That means that in 2016, the people from the United Kingdom, they voted to leave the European Union. They don't want to be part of it anymore. And since 2016, it's now like 4 years later, the UK national government and the European Union are still discussing about how the UK is going to exit, to leave the European Union. There's still a lot of uncertainty. The biggest fear is that there is not going to be a good deal. actually like a no deal. If there's going to be no deal, it seems that the impact on the UK economy is going to be really, really high and a negative one. So still negotiating a lot and still uncertainty. There has been already a fall in the value of the British pound, so that means that prices have gone up. So that is not a positive trend. But this Brexit and how the UK is going to step out of the European Union is going to be something that we should keep our eyes on. So again, the APTA, they always do this annual holiday habits report, and they also asked the people part of this huge national survey about Brexit. What are your concerns? And costs is something that the British people are concerned about. But when you go through all the feedbacks that they got, it's still quite uncertain. I think the younger people from the UK are most concerned about the impacts of the Brexit. There's some regional differences about how people think about what the Brexit will also have an impact on the travel behavior. But again, Brexit, it's still surrounded by a lot of unanswered questions, because we still don't know how they're exactly going to leave the European Union. So again, we need to keep an eye on this. Okay, so this is the cover page of the Holiday Habits Report, the most recent one. It's a PDF. I'm going to share it with you. And as you will see, I took a lot of my slides are based on what you can find in this report. This is actually the summary that you can find in the beginning of the research. So quickly go through it. Despite a continuation of the political crisis, Britons still remain firmly committed to taking their holidays. So they want to travel. The proportion of the population taking a holiday and the average number of holidays per person have both increased. That is a good sign. What is noticeable is how much people have cut their holiday spending before and during a holiday. So, okay, so there is an economic impact already there, and people from the UK are more price sensitive. They spend less before and during the holiday. So it seems clear that people are preserving their holidays while budgeting ever more carefully. All right. So what else do we see in this report? 2019 has been another positive year for the package holiday. So they still purchase a lot of package holidays, including transport, accommodation, and excursions. And another thing, and we already talked about that a little bit earlier, is responsible tourism. This has been increasing a lot due to more publications in British press and media about that. So people, UK people, they prefer to do business with a company from Kenya, from Ghana, or if they book their Kenya or Ghana a tour program, they prefer to book through a UK outbound tour operator that has commitment to responsible, sustainable tourism, that might have a sustainability award, like for example the Travel Life certification, or have accommodations that are certified by, well, you name it. So this is what they are sensitive to. And also, as I mentioned earlier, the animal welfare movement it all started in the UK. So again, the people from the UK still firmly committed to their holidays. 88% of people saying they took a holiday in the last 12 months. that is up slightly from 86% in 2018. All right, so let's look at the average number of holidays that they took during the past 3 years. That is also going up. So the average number of holidays people went on increased. And now we see that holidays abroad is average of 1.9. So that's almost 2 outbound holidays a year for the British people. So in 2017, that was 1.7, then it decreased. In 2018, 1.6, and now in 2019, almost 2 outbound holidays per annum. So they like to travel abroad. Okay, this is what we see here is that during their holidays, people are spending a bit less. I think this is where you see now a little bit the impact of, or the uncertainty about the whole Brexit thing. And we need to see what COVID is gonna, what the impact of COVID also will be on the European economy, if there's going to be a recession also in the UK and other European countries, and yeah, what the impact will be on the travel expenditures. But I think the decrease in expenditures that you see here is mostly related to the uncertainties about the Brexit. So it already has an impact there. Families in the UK took the most holidays. This is what you see here. Families with young children, especially, they had the most breaks, 3.9 in 2019. And what else do we see here? Holidays at home, most popular still, but people also travel abroad, of course. So let's see where they travel. Spain is still the biggest country for outbound travel by the Britons, followed by France, then USA, Italy, Germany, Greece, Portugal, Netherlands, and Turkey. Okay, what kind of holiday types did they take during the past 12 months? And then you see that the UK people, they like cities, 46%, followed by beach, 41%, and countryside, which is 23%. So in general, talking about UK market, if you can create a tour package that includes urban, but also excursions to rural areas. Regina, this is where your accommodation can play a role. So combination of urban, rural, and relaxation on the beach seems to be the ideal holiday of the British people. Okay, so beach breaks still very popular, with the option of getting away from it all. So that means that they also want to have some escapes to the rural countryside. And wouldn't it be great if you can do something there, Regina, with the tea? Because if you talk about Europe, I think the people from the UK are really the top tea drinkers here in Europe. So they might be interesting to have like a tea workshop, tea experience, and well, the examples that I just gave to you following your question. So think about it. Okay, so what else do we see in the UK market? There was a notable increase in the number of people 80 to 24 years old traveling to Africa. up from 6% in 2018 to 11% in 2019. So this is really interesting. It seems that the younger people in the UK are more looking into adventure holidays to Africa. So here we're talking about the millennials again, this generation Y. So there might be an opportunity provided that your company, your business is into this youth travel, student travel arena area. So, but it's a noticeable, a remarkable trend that, well, that was emphasized in this report from the APTA. So what else? The preferred method for booking a holiday abroad is through a holiday booking website. Online is growing. So what else do we see? 44% using a general holiday booking website like Opodo, booking.com to book their trip for traveling abroad. Directly booking with service providers like airline, hotel or villa, 42%. And 39% of the Britons traveling abroad, they still book via a travel company or agent that sells packages, that sells holidays. So this gives you a bit of an idea how the UK people book their holidays for destinations abroad. So what else? Many UK holiday makers are becoming experienced travelers and know how to get the most for their money. So price sensitive. And I think that will, price sensitivity will grow because of the Brexit and the recession, possible recessions caused by the COVID, not only for UK, but also other countries in Europe. We need to see how this will evolve. High expectations, staying in high-end accommodation is no longer seen as luxury, but it's often expected, etc. So some trends, some things that I took from this annual research. Types of package holidays people have booked in the past 12 months. So let me see what I can tell about this slide. I took some notes here. One moment, please. Okay, so 64% prefers to buy a ready-made tour program. So that means like all included. And what you see in the UK market, that 78% of the seniors aged 65 till 74 years old, they are the biggest group buying these ready-made holiday packages to Kenya, to Ghana, for example. Then we see that 32% of the UK people, they like to buy or like to buy basket style. And basket style means that they can select different elements themselves, but pay a single price. So especially the younger people, they prefer to buy basket style way. Personalized, that means that you can upgrade like transfers or choosing a specific room. So also again, the younger people here, 25, 34%, they like to buy in a personalized way. And bespoke travel, so that's tailor-made, that is 9% of the UK market. They go for tailor-made travel. And we see that the biggest group buying bespoke travel packages are the seniors. So this is a bit of how the UK, book their package holidays. So again, I already mentioned responsible tourism is something that is a movement that is really getting strong in the UK. So Britons increasingly aware of the environmental and social impacts of their holidays. What else do we see here? Two areas of greatest concern for people are waste and plastic pollution and treatment of animals. Again, the animal welfare movement. Half of people now say the green credentials of a travel company are important or essential when choosing a holiday. And this has been rising over recent years, up 5% since 2018 alone, to its highest level ever. So that means that when UK people are looking for a holiday package to Kenya or Ghana, that more and more Britons, they prefer to purchase a package, a holiday from a UK tour operator that has, for example, responsible tourism as one of the company unique selling points. And for UK outbound tour operators to be more responsible or be more greener, they need greener, more responsible products. So that means that you have to offer that to them. So if you as a Kenyan or Ghanese incoming agent have responsible tourism or commitments to corporate social responsibility as one of your corporate unique selling points, then you might be more successful on the UK market, and you might be more successful maybe during the World Travel Market London. Okay, so this is about tourism, responsible tourism and the concerns that the British have. Again, you see that animal welfare, waste and plastic pollution is something that the UK people are concerned about. But okay, you can check this later on. So 62% of the Britons, they choose for a company that, that is committed to responsible travel to ensure that their holidays help contribute to the local people and the local economies. So what kind of long haul holidays are popular? Sunsea Beach, wellness, luxury, also honeymoon travel is a big market in the UK. They have a lot of bridal shows, for example. So honeymoon travel to Ghana, to Kenya, it's already there, I think. But it's something, if you are good at it, if it's one of your unique selling points, maybe product-wise, then honeymoon travel is something that you could push into the UK market. So some other trends, I think I already mentioned this. How to penetrate the UK market. So these are some channels that you can tap into to do direct business with the UK people. But let's have a look at doing business B2B with the UK market. Well, the World Travel Market in London is absolutely the best trade show to reach out or to get linked to the UK outbound tour operators. So lucky you that you can join the WTM virtual, because there you will be able to find or reach out to UK outbound tour operators. This is the website of the AITO, which is the Association of Independent Tour Operators. And this is what I call the second national tour operator association of the United Kingdom. And to find out who are their members catering for Kenya, catering for Ghana, or one of your neighboring countries, they have on their homepage, aito.com, a search function, and this is what you see in the circle. You can put under destination, for example, Kenya, or again, some of your neighboring countries. You can even further select on interest or style of holiday. So for example, you can put family travel here, or select family travel here, or eco travel, things like that. When you push the search button, based on the inputs that you introduced yourself, you will get all the programs from their members that match your selection criteria. And when you click the program, you can see the name of the UK tour operator that is selling this program. So it's a way for you that you can use to find out who are the UK outbound tour operators, member of the AITO, that are catering for my country, neighboring countries, etc. It's a way to build or shortlist, make your own shortlist for UK outbound tour operators. And I'm not sure if they provide email details about email. I think they do, but it's more like the general email address. I think also telephone numbers you can find of the UK tour operators. So it's a great thing to use. The other national tour operator association, the first one, the leading one in the UK, is the APTA, the Association of British Travel Agents, that also do this annual travel habits research. They changed their website a couple of years ago, so they don't have this search engine anymore like AITO has. But APTA, I think, still has this annual booklet that they release. And in that APTA booklet, all the countries of the world are listed. And as a incoming agent of Kenya, Ghana, what you are, you can put an advertisement in this annual booklet to present your company, etc. I don't know about the prices that they will charge you, but this is a booklet that is being distributed among all the APTA members, and they have a couple of thousands, I believe. So if there's someone interested in Kenya, they can check it up, and hopefully they see your advertisement and get excited about your profile and contact you, for example. So, but go to the APTA website, apta.com, and just navigate around to find out. Okay, so we already discussed about AITO. So what is important for the people from the UK? Safety, accessibility, infrastructure, affordability, the weather. The weather in the UK is not that nice. So people, when they travel abroad, they want to have a good climate. And what is important to them is the X factor, the wow factor. So it should really be a really nice, awesome, unique experience. Okay, keeping up to date about the UK market, some tricks here. All right, so that is some insights about some further insights for the United Kingdom. So if there are any questions about the UK, then please put them in the chat box. If not, then we go to the German-speaking countries, and that is Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. So if you have questions about the United Kingdom, please put them in the chat box now. I see a question from Janet Kamia, I hope I pronounced that well, asking me why was 2018 decreased. I don't know exactly what slide that was.
This was from, pardon me, the slides you're looking at for Brexit, and also the report from ABTA when it showed 2017, 18, and 19 rates, and 2018 had decreased for some reason.
Let me see. Okay, yeah, well, I think different slides with 2017, 18, 19, but as I mentioned, decreases in travel expenditures, decreases in spendings during and before the holiday. It mainly has to do with the Brexit, the uncertainty about the economy in the UK. because of the Brexit, which actually the first discussion started in 2016, you saw, and it's still going on, that companies mainly from the London area are closing their offices in the UK, in London, and they move to continental Europe because they feel insecure about what the exact impact about the Brexit's gonna bring. So they just want to play safe, and they move their business out of the UK to, for example, to Amsterdam, where I live. During the past 3 years, 4 years, I think about 80 between 200 companies from London moved to Amsterdam because of these Brexit discussions. And so since UK decided to step out of the European Union back in 2016, the economy started to see some drops. So I think that explains the decreases that you see in the numbers also being published by this in this APTA holiday habits report. I hope this answers your question. If not, send it to me per email so I can further look into this. Okay, another question is, do we see interest with UK travelers with adventure safaris like mountain climbing, horse racing or cycling, walking and trekking to experience the African cultures? This is what I do. I mean, this is something also that depends a little bit on what kind of market segment you are looking into. So when I talk about market segment, we're talking about specific groups of society, for example, like senior travelers or the millennials or families with children, things like that. And as you could see, senior European travelers, they are also very healthy, they're very vital, they're very active. So they're also interesting on some of the activities that you mentioned here, Alice Kamunje. I hope I pronounced that well. But for example, if you talk about senior travelers from the UK, it might be more about soft adventures. So when you talk about mountain climbing, I'm not so sure about that because the level of difficulty might be too high for them. If you talk about youngsters from the UK, so for example, these millennials, they are younger, they're more vital, they are more into the adventure travel, they have stronger bodies, they can have more difficult activities. So then mountain climbing, for example, could be interesting for them. Walking and trekking is something also that you can offer to different UK market segments. Also for the seniors, again, walking and trekking is something that they can do, but it depends a little bit on the difficulty level that you see here. Same for cycling. What can I say more about that? So if you want to offer these kind of programs, again, you can offer it to different groups of British society, but you need to be a bit careful about the level of difficulty. And level of difficulty is something that we also discussed during last week's seminar. If you talk about level of difficulty concerning your tour program, you can think in terms of easy, what was the other one, moderate, and difficult. So yeah, I mean, what you say, Alice, you can do different things for different segments, but what are you really good at? Are you a tour operator that is really much more into the senior travel market? Or are you more into younger people? Or are you more into family travel? Think about it and think how you can tweak or just these activities that you're listing here, like climbing, horse racing, cycling, walking, and make it suitable to them. African culture, to experience African culture, that interest is everywhere. It just depends on how you package it. So again, if you're into family travel and you want to offer insights into African culture, then it should not be too much history overkill when you have a family from Europe. It should be fun, it should be hands-on, it should be interactive. This is how Europeans want to get to know more about African culture. So active, not passive, action, storytelling, combine it with music, for example. For kids, combine it with playing, things like that. All right, I hope that answers your question, Alice. Let me know.
Yes, that has answered my question, because I find a lot of interest on CSR. People come to climb the mountain to raise money for charity. Those are the ones we deal with very much. But now they come to climb the mountain, they come to do walking, to raise money. But I'm finding now that we've seen youth, quite a chunk of youth from UK want to visit Africa. I thought maybe that would be interesting to have them come and explore the areas in Kenya, the walk with the animals and the nature. Yeah. Maybe that they would find it interesting, and that's why I was wondering, how can we package to interest the youth, because the people we have here most of the time are the people come to race, to walk and to do charity walks, charity horse racing, charity mountain climbing. Yes.
Okay.
And also the other thing I've noted down, I've asked down there is from being a UK market, we want the young people to come and see Africa for themselves, where their forefathers settled many years ago, and it will be very interesting for them to come and see where maybe like the Queen of England was realized that she was the queen before when the father died, and also where most of the royal families they were proposed here in our country. So maybe young people would be interested to come and visit such sites, to see the historical sites where their forefathers were.
Yeah. I mean, I think both of you, Ghana, Kenya, you have a history with the UK, so the ties are there. Again, talking about youth, we already saw that one of the remarkable conclusions of this annual holiday habits report from the UPTA is that adventure travel from British young people to Africa is going up. So I think it is interesting to learn more about that. But again, I will share you the PDF report. So hopefully there's more information in there that you can look into. One of the interesting things is also that the UK market, they have a long history in terms of charity and voluntarism. So that's another interesting kind of products that you could push into the UK market. So also, for example, community-based tourism, a visit to a school, supporting local projects, or maybe support the construction of a new hospital in a village somewhere, is something that the UK market is sensitive about. If you want to work with the international market for youth travel, for student travel, WISE is a very interesting international umbrella organization that as a tour operator from Kenya and Ghana, you can become a member of. And WISE is, so WYSE is the International Umbrella Association for Youth and Student Travel. They have members from all over the world. They also do their B2B matchmaking events, but all their members, and I think they have more than 600, are into the youth and student travel market. A couple of weeks ago, they had their flagship international event. It was also converted into a fully virtual event. And one of the companies that I'm coaching in Myanmar, they were participating in that. And they say it was very well organized, very professional, and they managed to get connected to a good number of outbound agents dealing with youth and students travel. There's another organization based in the UK. I think it's called BEAK, BEAK.co.uk, something like that. And that's like a national umbrella organization of educational institutes in the UK that are dealing with travel. So that could be another channel that you could further look into. Okay, so we have another 15 minutes, and I just realizing that I still have a lot to tell, but let's see if we can speed up a little bit. Maybe we can do 15 minutes longer. I hope you have that flexibility. So let's go to the German-speaking countries. So again, Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. So going to, here we have Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. So this is a country profile for Germany. I'm not going through it. The only thing here that I would like to say is that when looking at Europe, Germany actually is the strongest, the biggest outbound travel market that we have, followed by the UK. All right. Strong economy, low unemployment rates, numbers. So a very strong economy. Also the second largest outbound market in the world after China, when we talk in numbers of bucks, so a number of people. Number one in revenue, more than 80 million holiday trips per year. 10 million trips to developing countries, generating more than 700 million nights abroad. Spendings in 2016 on outbound travel, 81 billion. But again, and this is for all European countries, what is going to be the economic impact of the COVID? Okay. What is important to Germans is safety. That's the number one selection criteria for choosing the next holiday destinations. They want to travel to long-haul destinations, but the country should be safe. Germans have a bit of a high uncertainty avoidance. They don't like surprises. What is promised in the travel program should be delivered. They're not very flexible travelers. So what is promised should be delivered. No surprises, no change of programs. That is what they don't like. Customer protection rights are very, very strong in Germany. So also your business partners based in Germany, so the Germany outbound tour operators, they want you to deliver what is being read or being put on paper. Long-haul travel amongst the Germans getting more popular. Asia is popular. And when you look a little bit further into Africa, South Africa, Namibia are most popular, followed by Northern Africa, Kenya, and Tanzania. So these were figures that I took from 2018. So increasing number of outbound travelers, hotel most popular, followed by vacation home, increasing long haul bookings. Okay, internet bookings is growing, the internet important for holiday inspiration and preparation. More seniors are traveling, green tourism becoming more important. Also in Germany, Germans are very critically about accommodations. There's also a visible trend towards eco-lodges in the German market. So average spending, 2,313 euros for summer holidays in 2018. That is quite a lot of money. I think one of the highest in Europe. So what do the Germans like? Well, number one is sun and beach. Number 2 and 3 is about round trips, so discovering more from the country, different regions. Trekking and hiking, number 4. Number 5, cities, and number 6, wellness and health. And also what you see in the German market is a trend towards more sustainable, responsible tourism, ecotourism, with also a growing segment looking into or purchasing community-based tourism experiences. So here's another slide with the likes of the Germans, and you can use this for your product development, but also ask your German business partners about the trends in the market, their customers, the things they like, changes they see. What the circle that you see here is actually a circle that I put there for the companies that I coach in Myanmar, because many of them, they complain to me that they are not really expanding their business in the German market. And that has to do with the fact that almost all the Myanmar companies that are working with the German market, they only offer city and cultural tourism. They are not really active in diversifying their products. So they're all in the city and cultural tourism arena, competing with each other, and not offering other experience like nature tourism or active tourism. So if you want to work with the German market, you have to offer more diverse products to be able to tap into more market segments in Germany. Okay, some special interests. Youth travel, again, working holidays, and you have names of some tour operators that are working in these areas. So for example, Studiosus and Gebeko are 2 big German tour operators that are, for example, more into the in catering for German youth, students, and adventure travelers. So special interests. So here are some numbers about the number of tour operators based in Germany. Around 950 German companies, they deal with outbound travel. The number of travel agencies is decreasing. So the number of shops is decreasing. People more and more book directly with a tour operator or, for example, an OTA. I'm going to speed up now a little bit. This is some figures about online business. Okay, but let's go to this one. If you want to do B2B business with Germany, there are 3 tour operator associations that you have in Germany. It's Forum Andersreisen. This is actually, it's not an association, it's a network. This is a network of German tour operators that are really committed to responsible and sustainable tourism. So for example, if you have, for some of you who have the Travel Life recognition or the Travel Life certification, the members of the German members of Forum Andersreisen, they all have TourCert certification. And TourCert is actually a bit the competitor of Travel Life. But again, if you're a Kenyan or Ghanese business with commitments to responsible tourism, corporate social responsibility, the members of Forum Andersreisen might be interesting potential business leads for you. Then you have Deutsche Reiseverband, DRV, another tour operator association with a lot of members, and you have ASR, the Alliance of Independent Travel Agents in Germany. Okay, so Forum Andersreisen, again, they have on their website this Reisefinder, which is like a search engine where you can make different selections and find out who are their members and to get more contact details. So Forum Andersreisen can be compared a bit with what you have in the UK, the AITO, the Association of Independent British Travel Agents, because the members of the AITO, they are also committed to sustainable tourism. Okay, this is very interesting, the TID. This is a booklet that you can purchase online, including more than 900 contacts of German tour operators. So if you want to find out what are the names and the contact details of German tour operators catering for Kenya or Ghana, you can buy this booklet. I think they also have a digital version, like a PDF, and you will have the whole German landscape in front of your eyes. Of course, the ITB Berlin, the event to join if you want to get connected to German outbound tour operators. But also Scandinavian tour operators will be there. Tour operators from Switzerland, Italy, also from Netherlands, my country, they will be there. So at the ITB Berlin, again, the biggest travel trade fair in the world, a good place to meet with outbound tour operators from different European source markets. There are more trade fairs in Germany, smaller ones, basically consumer fairs with tourism as the main theme. For if you are into the MICE business, then there's an annual event in the city of Frankfurt, which is called IMEX. And IMEX is the European, let's say, trade show to get more business from European MICE agents. Okay, when you visit the ITB Berlin, make use of the website and make sure that you make use of the virtual marketplace where all the exhibitors are listed. And you can make very interesting selections to find out who will be there and who can be your potential business partner. So for example, here you see adventure travel. When you click it, you can find out who are the exhibitors at the ITB active in the adventure travel market. And this is only a very small part of the list. You have many, many more selection criteria that you can make use of, like luxury travel. MICE travel is already there, cultural tourism, just name it and you will find it. And you see the URL here where you can go to. So you really need to make use of this virtual marketplace before you go there to long list and short list potential business leads. The ITB also introduced this initiative, the ITB Travel Network, itb.com. And as a business from Kenya and Ghana, you can also add your profile there and get connected to other travel experts from all over the world. Okay, here's some interesting websites that you can have a look at. Germany's top 50 selling tour operators. That's based on the revenue. And the ITB Berlin always provides the list of exhibitors as a PDF or as an Excel with names of the countries, names of the companies, but they don't provide email addresses or telephone numbers. But if you're creative, you can easily use this list from ITB and further add a column where you can add telephone numbers based on the info that you find yourself on the websites of the different businesses. Yeah. Austria, the other German-speaking country, a very good outbound market. Austrian people famous or well known for their long average length of stay, also sensitive to environment and ethical issues. Austrians are a bit like the people from Switzerland, a little bit more conservative. So they are cautious over online shopping. They prefer to book their holidays by making use of a tour operator or a travel agent within their country. Okay, some figures here, some things the people from Austria like. So you can think about this and you know, if you want to deal with the Austrian market, what could be successful to grab their attention? Well, you see culture, sightseeing, beach and bathing holidays. A small country, Austria, much smaller than Germany. The outbound tourism business dominated by some big tour operators that have a market share of 75%, but there are quite a good number of small and medium-sized tour operators based in Austria. Okay, then we go to Switzerland, the other German-speaking market. Very wealthy country, one of the wealthiest countries in the world, high spending power. They're not using the euro, they have their own currency. In Switzerland, you have actually 4 languages. The western part is French speaking, middle section German speaking. In the south, there's a very, very wealthy area where they speak Italian, and in the eastern part, there's an area where they speak Romansh, which is a very funny language. So this is something that you need to know about Switzerland. Okay, some figures about expenditures for outbound travel. Like Austria, strong outbound travel market, long average length of stay, but also a bit of a conservative country, not really into the online business. They prefer to book through travel agents, tour operators. So again, outbound travel, very strong markets. Austria and Switzerland are definitely interesting countries to look into. And again, think about or remember what I'm saying. They prefer to purchase through a travel agent or tour operator. So working with this country, B2C might be a little bit difficult. You have to go the traditional way and work with a business partner based in these countries. Okay, so some other details, you can look at this later on because I'm going to skip some parts now. Austria and Switzerland, if you want to do B2B business, reach out to tour operators in these countries. Here you have the websites of the national tour operator associations, and both of them have a proper listing of their members. So again, profiling, screening them, doing your homework. Where do they go? What kind of products do they sell? This is how you can shortlist your potential business partners from these countries. Here you have the leading trade fairs. In Austria, it's the fair that you have annually in January in the capital city of Vienna. And in Switzerland, you have two tourism shows. It's actually a little bit more B2C focused, but also if you want to work B2B, these are worthwhile to visit. You can also visit or combine a visit to these fairs with some separate sales visits, like your own roadshow, where you do visits to the offices of Swiss tour operators or Austrian tour operators. So in Switzerland, you have Viaggiatori, which is in the south, so the Italian-speaking part of Switzerland, and the other events that you have in the capital city of Bern, Ferien Bern, which is also always in January. But also at the ITB Berlin, you can find tour operators from Switzerland and Austria. Scandinavian countries, Norway, Sweden, Finland, Denmark. Here you have them. Some figures about population, size of the country. I already mentioned the purchasing power of the Scandinavian people is really high. The commonalities that they have, high educational power or a level, strong purchasing power, especially the seniors that you have there. And the difference that you have here compared to, for example, countries like the Netherlands, Belgium, France, Italy, is the Scandinavian people, they prefer to travel during different months. The winters in Scandinavia are really, really cold. So when it's winter time, so think about between October and April, that is when they like to travel, because then it's winter, cold, it's dark during the main part of the day. Then they want to travel to long-haul destination with a good climate. Okay, so what other commonalities do they have? All right, 5 to 6 weeks holidays per year. They look beyond the horizon. They are very eager to learn, to travel to far off places, explorative people. Here's some other commonalities that you have between the different Scandinavian countries. Far off places, they have a above average interest in visiting developing countries. So what else? Scandinavians, when you look in Europe, Scandinavians are the front runners in everything, in IT, in education, in technology. So if you work with the Scandinavian countries and you want to do direct business, your online presence is very, very important. A mobile-friendly, an iPad-friendly website is really a must for Scandinavians. And another interesting fact about Scandinavian travel market is their interest in travel videos to get inspired for their next holidays. Okay, so B2B business. Previously in Scandinavia, they had the Tour, which was the regional travel trade show for the Scandinavian countries. They stopped with that. So nowadays they have some smaller national tourism shows that you can visit. And you see some more details about these national tourism shows here. What I did for Myanmar to get connected to the Scandinavian travel market is that I organized 2 roadshows for them in March 2017, and earlier this year in 2020, last March, we visited Copenhagen and Stockholm to get connected to Danish and Swedish outbound tour operators. With our event in last March not being very successful because then the outbreak of COVID actually, had a very negative impact on our event in both cities, because all the Danish and Swedish tour operators that were supposed to visit our event, they said, we have other concerns now because of the COVID, we need to repatriate people. So actually 95% of them cancelled, which was very, very sad. What is very interesting in Scandinavia is that they like breakfast meetings. So if Kenya or Ghana, your tourist board, is going to organize a roadshow to Scandinavia, breakfast meetings, early meetings with some snacks, some food is something that is popular in the Scandinavian countries. If you want to find more details about tour operators in these countries, you can search for the PATA chapters in these Scandinavian countries, and you can work with PATA to advertise, or they also do emailings. This is an overview of the national tour operator associations in the different countries. And the one from Sweden, they have all their members listed on their website. And I think this is also for Finland. Not sure about Denmark. It's been a while that I visited this website. But if you go to the website for Sweden, then you can download all the Swedish tour operators into an Excel file. You can do more research and shortlist your potential business partner in Sweden. Okay, the Mediterranean countries, France, Spain, Italy. Country profile. Here you can see more about the profile of the French market, when they travel, what the biggest group is families, how many number of trips do they take annually, etc. Preferred accommodation. Okay, some other specifics about the French travel market. They are more and more sensitive to quality labels and stamps. I think for many, many European countries, responsible tourism, the animal welfare is something that is really important aspect. This is a website of a network of French tour operators, highly committed to responsible tourism, solidarity travel, and you can also, there's this item in their navigation, Membre, where you can introduce Kenya or Ghana and find out who are the French tour operators committed to sustainability, committed to responsible travel, and you can build on your contact database for France. What do the French like? They're very sensitive to culinary experiences. That's the most important. So think about, when you work with the French market, how you can include culinary activities. And this is also applicable to the Italian market and the Spanish market. Their society is built around food, wine, drinks, etc. So France, very explorative people, interested in developing countries like the Scandinavian people. Explore the outdoors, off the beaten path is what they like. Some other things that they like: once in a lifetime experience, cultural experience. So also a big market for community-based tourism. Popular in 2018, Kenya was very popular, you see. Number one was Cuba. So when do they travel? August, the best month. April, followed by April, then July and May. So when you offer your programs to the French market, think about seasonality. How do they like to travel? In couples, number one, and families with children, number two. So how do they book? Here you have some figures. Facebook and Twitter, especially Facebook, is what the French people like to use a lot to get inspired about destinations. You know, they read about tourism, about travel. Here you have another overview of some features for the French tourism market. Language is still a bit of an issue, especially the French senior people. They prefer to communicate and read in French language. So working B2B with the French market, the IFTM Top Reza, that's an event that always takes place in Paris in September. That's the place to be to get connected to French outbound tour operators. But there are many other events in France with some specific thematics like outdoor activities, things like that, nature tourism, ecotourism. So this is an overview of the main tour operator associations and networks that you can look into and find out, learn more about their members, where they are traveling, where they are going to, and it could help you to build your contact base. So this is some other interesting websites to get connected to the French markets, especially www.dmcmag.com, where you can get listed as a Kenyan business or a Ghanese business. It's a website that is being used a lot by French travel agents to look for incoming agents in different countries all over the world. Tour Hebdo, they have a tourism address book, a tourism directory with lots of pages, with lots of details about French tour operators. Very interesting, you can purchase it. And I'm a bit not fully sure here, but this booklet might be titled L'Annuaire du Tourisme. That's this big book, and you have all the countries of the world listed. You go to Kenya or you go to Ghana, and you will see all the French tour operators that are selling tour programs to your country. But again, not only look into your country, also look at neighboring countries and try to shortlist French tour operators that are already close to Ghana, already close to Kenya, because you could create among these tour operators an appetite for your country. Spain, interesting market also for outbound travel, is growing, but it seems that the COVID in Spain is having a severe impact on their economy. So we need to see how this further develops. Also explorative people. This is information from 2018, and you see that like the Italians and the French people, also the Spanish people, they like to go for destinations that are more unknown. So if you do your promotion in Spain really well, you can create an appetite for your country. Spanish people, this is a slide that I took from Myanmar. What is very remarkable in Myanmar is that because the Spanish people are quite price sensitive, like the people from the Netherlands, they like to travel off season to have cheaper rates, cheaper packages. So that means that in Myanmar, in the off season, in the rainy season or low season, how you want to mention it, a lot of Spanish travelers flock into the country. So seasonality is something that, think about it. Have you ever looked at your annual calendar and think about your country like, okay, when it's the off season, when it's the low season in my country, are there any specific festivals or events, or what are the regions in my country that still enjoy a dry climate? So you can still send people to these areas in your country in the low season, and people can have fun. You are the expert, so think about how to extend your season, because the Spanish market for Myanmar is interesting because it extends the tourism season for the country of Myanmar. So what about your country? One company from Myanmar that is a specialist in religious travel, I asked them to look at the annual calendar from Myanmar and look at the low season if there's any specific unique religious festival that they can use to build a product around and push it into the Spanish market, but also the Italian market, because also Italians, especially the younger Italian people, they travel off season, in the low season, because they want to have cheaper tour packages. So think about it. Fitur is the main travel trade event taking place annually in Madrid. The Fitur is a good event, not only to get connected to the Spanish tour operator market, the Spanish travel market, also the country of Portugal is well represented. And if you want to do more business with Latin American countries, Fitur also offers opportunities. So these are some other smaller fairs taking place in Spain, but more like B2C focused with a specific focus. These are the tourism associations that you will find in Spain. So look at their websites and see if you can get connected to their members. So again, Spanish outbound tour operators. Okay, Italy, let's do it quickly. Northern part, the green part, is the rich part. Southern part, the red part, is the poorer part. Italian consumers, what you see in Italy is a growing population of seniors. Italy, Greece, and Spain are the countries where the senior population is growing very fast. Quality and after-sales service is very important for Italians. It's a large market. They spend more than the people from France. Also, like France, that's the commonality, love to travel to remote places. Very explorative people. They like food. They like wine. Again, like the Spanish and French people, the society is built around culinary, the culinary. Okay, Italians, fashionable, like to explore a lot. They want to visit a lot of different countries in their lifetime. So they're not very strong market for repeat visitors. Yeah. Some numbers: total travels in 2017, 6.6 million outbound trips. They love the beach and combine it with urban areas and a round trip to get to know more, to learn more about your country. Italians are very sensitive about reviews. They check reviews to finally decide about their next holiday. And almost 70% of the Italians, they publish a review about their accommodation where they stayed. The TTG in Rimini, the city of Rimini, always taking place in October, is the place to be to get connected to the Italian travel market. And in Milan, in February, you have the BIT, B-I-T, which is another travel trade show where you will find Italian outbound tour operators. And the BIT also have an edition which is about MICE business, MICE travel. These are the three important Italian tour operator networks: Viafet, Astoy. I think Astoy has a listing of their tour operator members, and which one that I like is AITR, Associazione Italiana Turismo Responsabile. They have a website, you see it here, where you can select Ghana or Kenya, and you will get the details of the Italian tour operator. So it's another way of searching for Italian business partners. Here you have some other web links that I wanted to share with you to find details about Italian tour operators selling Africa, but more specifically Ghana or Kenya. All right, okay, so this was my presentation. Are there any questions? Please use the chat box.
I've seen a question from Na. She's asking, why do you think West Africa has very low European travelers compared to Northeast and Southern Africa? From experience, when you search for outbound European tour operators, West Africa is the least offered. Those who usually offer West Africa offer Gambia, Senegal, and Cape Verde.
Yeah, I think that it mainly has to do with the promotion of your country here in Europe. I think there's a lack of knowledge what West Africa has to offer. And one of the things that I like about West Africa is the whole scene that you have in terms of music festivals, film festivals, different tribes, different cultures, but also, for example, what you meant, the lady mentioned from Ghana is the cultural heritage, the whole history that you have with the UK or other European countries. I know, for example, that in Ghana, I haven't visited, but I heard from stories that many years ago, when you had the trade between Europe and Asia, that they passed Ghana with the ships, and that you have a whole, you know, historical buildings that are related to the old trade history that you have between Europe and Asia. And this is also something that very little people know. In, for example, West African drums, you know, the specific tribes that you have in Cameroon, like the Pygmies, right? I mean, there's a lot of knowledge that people in Europe are not aware about when it comes down to Western Africa. And, you know, Eastern Africa, Kenya, Tanzania, Southern Africa, Namibia, when you look at these national tourist boards, they get more support from their national governments to do really good promotion in Europe. If you look at their stands at the ITB or the World Travel Market, when you have the physical events, they are very well and professionally presented. And for West Africa, this is simply a different story. I think another thing that plays a role in the European market for West Africa is the wrong image. I think Western African countries really need to work on their country tourist image. If you talk about the Gambia, for example, a lot of Europeans perceive the Gambia as a destination for cheap exotic beach tourism, which is not that very much exciting, but okay, it's very close to Europe, and you can enjoy the beach. Another thing here in Europe is that among many European countries, West Africa is associated with sex tourism. And of course, that is true, and you have that in destinations, but you need to work on you know, show the positive things and the diverse range of products and experiences that you have in Western Africa. The market for bird watchers is something like a golden opportunity for West African countries, because the bird migration, Europe, West Africa, well, you know about it. So for the European bird watchers traveling to West Africa, there's still, I believe, you know, a really good market out there where West Africa can get more business. And talking about bird watchers, the UK, the United Kingdom, has a very strong market for bird watchers. Every year, I think in August, in the small town of Rutland, they have the national UK bird watching a tourism show. So if you're into bird watching, think about that. So for West Africa, I think there's show your diversity as a destination, the different experiences that you can offer. Try to lobby as I guess TUGA, the Tour Operator Union of Ghana, lobby with your national government to see if more budgets can be made available to work on your tourism promotion, your tourism marketing here in Europe, and try to convince your national government by lobbying, by uniting as tour operators to put tourism as one of your priority economic industries, segments, because I truly believe that West Africa, it's so rich, it's so diverse, but too little is still being done. And yeah, Europeans, they need to know about what you have to offer as West African countries, as Ghana. So, and again, the image, you really need to work on your image. A couple of years ago in European press, Ghana was published a lot in a negative way, because it seems that in Ghana, a lot of dumping is being done of laptops, cell phones that are not in use anymore. There's like these dumping pits that you have in Ghana, and also that brings a negative connotation for Europeans when you talk about Ghana. But I mean, you have a great country, a big country with lots of things that you can do and offer, beautiful areas. So shout it out to the world, All right, so I hope that gave you sufficient inspiration for Ghana. So, any other questions?
For those whose microphones are working, you can just unmute yourself and ask your
Yes.
question directly.
Be my guest. Well, thank you for all the thanks that you're sending me. It was really great to have the chance to work with you again. And yeah, I hope it gave you a lot of inspiration, ideas, also ideas to get better prepared for the WTM, where to search for if you want to get connected B2B wise to different European countries. So it's a lot of information. I try to, to share the essentials with you. And I hope, you can really benefit from this. So thanks again, Caroline. Thanks, ITC Sea Trades, for having me again. And I wish you all the best. Good luck at the WTM London Virtual. And for you and also for your families, your children, brothers, sisters, stay safe. Stay healthy and stay positive. Tourism is being hit hard because of the COVID, but we're resilient and we will bounce back. And I hope these 3 webinars also gave you inputs to build back better and come back better when travel and tourism resumes. And that COVID, hopefully very soon, will leave our planet. So thanks again to all of you. Thanks, Caroline, for preparation, assisting. And